So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the search engine project, and this is actually what I've been spending a lot of my time personally working on. I'm in New York, working out of the New York office, which is where our design team is. We have a really fantastic genius programmer who's the technical lead on the project. He lives in Iowa because he can live anywhere he wants. And but the design team, the user interface design team, is in New York, and what I consider my work to be is essentially community design. I don't think of it as website design, I think of it as community design. I think about what are the social rules, what are the social norms, and what are the software features that are needed to support those rules and norms that can empower good and thoughtful people to generate good work and have fun doing it. And so that's what we're really working on with search. So just to go a little bit into why I think this is important. So as with essentially all my work, we are putting everything under a free license. So it's all open source, and I'll talk a little bit about what that means in a minute and the particular licenses for the license geeks in the audience, if we have any. But search is a really massively important part of the internet today. It's part of the infrastructure, and unlike most of the rest of the infrastructure, it's a black box. 91% of people who are on the web use a search engine to find information. We're all going there, and it turns out that over 90% of the US search queries are in the hands of just 3 companies, Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft. Now, one of the interesting things about search is that the companies have, not for any nefarious purposes, but they've kind of trained us to think about search as being simply an algorithm. In other words, what comes up, it depends on the formula, the mathematical formula behind it all. And if you think in that way, you may fail to notice that what search actually is, it's an editorial function. It's a statement about the world. In fact, it's journalism. It is telling you, when you type in Thomas Jefferson, here's the 10 most important links you should look at, the 10 most important things you should know about Thomas Jefferson. You can go to these 10 websites. And of course, you can go to more and more and more if you want. Well, that's an editorial statement. That's a judgment about the world. And do we know how those judgments are made? Well, in fact, the search companies are quite proud of the fact that they keep everything super duper secret. And they have their reasons for doing that are not completely unreasonable. Some are for business competitive reasons. Some are trying to figure out how to deal with the problem of spammers. But we see these kinds of weird results. This is just a sample search result from Yahoo. When you type in, I think because of the lighting here, you can't really see. Those first 3 links are advertisements. And Yahoo and Google are both very good about distinguishing the ads from the content. And so you see here StubHub.com. This is a search for Mets tickets. So if you search for Mets tickets, this is what you may see on Yahoo. StubHub.com and RazorGator are 2 ticket sellers who are the first 2 links there in the advertising section. But look down below in the actual editorial content. It's the same 2 sites. It's StubHub and RazorGator. To me, something seems a little odd about that. Maybe those 2 are, in fact, the best websites to go to if you've just typed in Mets tickets. I'm not really a Mets fan, so I wouldn't know. But in fact, a friend of mine who is a Mets fan says these are not the best websites. Like, there's no reason those should come up. He actually suggested that Craigslist, a search on Craigslist for Mets tickets, is probably what most people would really rather find. So I don't know about that, but it is interesting that the advertising and the other content ends up being the same in a lot of cases, and I think that's puzzling. The other thing is we have a whole industry now, or a sub-industry, of what's called SEO, search engine optimization. Basically, the job of an SEO is to figure out how to do things on the web to essentially trick the search engines into ranking your website higher. If you've got the money to afford good quality SEO, they'll do lots of different things, including helping you redesign your website, and there's nothing wrong with that, but also linking strategies and all kinds of things like this to drive your sites up higher in the rankings. It seems odd to me that we're in such a position that this is a recommendation from Google. They say, if you don't like how you're ranked, why don't you go hire an SEO to try to trick us into ranking it higher. Now, they don't put it that way, of course, but it's problematic, I think, and it's a symptom of having this black box approach. The advice should be, in an ideal world, if somebody says, how do I get my website ranked a little bit higher in the search engines, the answer should be, make your website not suck. Make it good. If you make it good, then people will want it, and it'll editorially, we'll find it, and we'll put it in there, and it'll be something that people should visit. And right now, that doesn't happen nearly as well as it should, and there's a lot of detailed problems that you can get into about what's wrong with what goes on with the way that the algorithmic search is working.